Hi everybody, Dr. Minnow here again. It's one of these videos I still got to do. I've been talking about this issue for years, especially in Costa Rica, how the central banks will one day repossess the water system here, the water authority here, from lack of payment on all these millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of loans. Now, on the other day on RT, Ben Swan and Tyra Ventura was talking about the potential of water wars. And I've always said we are in a state of World War III as we are speaking right now. Statistically speaking, the amount of deaths, the amount of unrest, amount of military expenses, the migration, the total destruction of countries, the millions of people dying. Statistically speaking, we are in a state of World War III. What is coming up? Instead of oil, the emphasis just might be water. There are certain groups of people that are buying up water sources around the world. One of them is the Bush family. And what is exposed in this first video clip is you'll be amazed, and maybe not amazed. I wasn't too shocked to hear this, that there's a certain country out there going around buying up all the water reserves in water aquifers in the world. And you'll be very impressed of this country. Now, what I have in the links down below is all the products that this country is selling, and we need to be boycotting these products because this company does want to take control of the water. All anybody has to do is poison one water source, which is already poisoned just through capitalization, through industrialization in our waterways, the lead in the water, the chemicals, the glyphosate, all of these toxins within our water system already. But what it will take is to blame it on a terrorist, put some poison in a water system somewhere, and everybody will be panicking. So the Nestle's company is the big one about this. Like I said, the Bush has been buying up, and stay tuned and you'll hear of this whole country doing the same thing. Also, there are 3 clips from videos I've done years ago concerning this same topic. So this is very important because it's something we need to be aware of about the future, especially here, us living in Costa Rica, that one day our presidents sold the country out and we're going to lose one aspect of our water, and it will be turned over, my prediction, just a guess, will be turned over to the Nestle's corporations. Okay, stay tuned for these great clips.
With Nestle pumping how much water out of the tributaries into the Great Lakes, and everybody looking to abuse fresh water, and then even the waste that we see in our waste systems in this country of the waste of fresh water. This is a major issue that I don't think anyone's really paying attention to, is how valuable fresh water is going to be in the coming future. And again, this isn't about the debate of whether or not what creates climate change and all that. We see that something's happening, so we need to react to it.
Well, there's a very quiet process that's taking place, because the next great wars will be water wars.
Yes.
Right? They absolutely will be. A lot of people don't know this, but the Israeli government goes around the world buying up water reserves in countries all over the world, including countries in Latin and South America, like in Chile. The Israeli government owns water reserves there. So what we're going to see in the future are wars over water. It's the most important resource, and it is becoming more and more scarce.
Next to air. Water and air is probably neck and neck for the most important thing that we need on this planet. Ben, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Appreciate it, Tyra.
In order for you to get a building permit, you have to be signed up with the ASADA, with the legal authority of Costa Rica, Water Authority of Costa Rica. So no building permits are going to be issued until they are all accounted for with meters, because the central banks wants everybody accounted for so that when they come in and take over their water, they can just suck you dry. And the big thing about this, when they do come in for repossession, they turn over these utilities to their little buddies like Nestle's, or like the Bush family, who is one of the biggest owners of the biggest aquifer in the world, I do believe. It's down there in Paraguay area. So this is what happens when they take over. When austerity hits and people can't pay the interest on these loans, they turn over these services to their little buddies, to these fascists, and austerity kicks in big time, and the prices go up, and it pisses a lot of people off. Now, the general rule here in the country, as the water falls from the heavens, it's considered God's water. And once it hits the terrain, the earth, then it becomes Costa Rica's water. And what they do is they charge you for hooking up tanks and pipes and distributing it to your local residents, business, and your homes. It is not Nestle's water. It is not the Bush family's water. It is not no other human being's water. It's either God's water or it's the country's water to be distributed legally and locally and fairly to all people of concern. Everybody has the right to water. So what Costa Rica needs to do is to put their past 4 presidents in jail for treason, for selling out their country, for the massive amount of central bank loans from all over the world that they know one day they cannot pay, and they come in and repossess whole countries. They start piece by piece, first the water, then maybe the electricity, and then they start taking over the roads, the toll booths, and then they start taking over your parks and your beaches, and they've already taken over your politicians thanks to the United States. So this is what needs to be said, and it's a pretty sad thing to see here, and these people need to fight this all the way and stand up to them. And the country needs to not pay their central bank loans and say F you like Iceland did. They need to go take over their building. They need to put these CEOs of the central banks in jail and throw away the key. And they need to put their past 4 presidents in jail for selling out their country. But water is going to be the commodity in the world. It's going to be more valuable than oil one day. And you got companies like Nestle's going around buying up water around the world, running municipality wells dry, and then reselling people's own water back to them. You got the Bushes buying up artesian wells. Has the largest artesian well that they bought in Paraguay, I think it was, that nobody really knows about, in the little dollar. Jenna Bush is going down there playing a diplomat with all that. Rainforest, water is going to be the commodity. This is what they're going to come after Costa Rica for. Because recently, with construction, because when you get into a little development here, you have to form your water committee. So now the AYA, as it's called here, and ASADA, the managing aspect of the water delivery system here, is saying that you have to join them. All these developer committees have to disband and consolidate your water districts and water committees, because what they're doing here is trying to get in shape the water system, get as many people on board, registered on the computer system of their water delivery systems and their water usage, because one day they're going to take over the water. I noticed a lot of the water places and the tanks have been rehabbed, painted, nice blue fresh paint, pipes are painted, they're installing fire hydrants around places that never had them before. So like I've always said, when you go to sell your car, sell your house, what you do is you fix it up, you get it in pristine shape before you transfer ownership. So when I see things being done like this, and they make the country borrow money, but they tell them how they're going to spend it, which is fixing up, making pristine the stuff that they intend to repossess sometime in the near future or the distant future. That's what I have, a video that the Costa Rican needs to reject the central banks here and take back their country and don't pay off the loans, and confiscate the central bank building in San Jose, which is probably the most protected building. Why does that building have to be protected? Well, because they're criminals. These are world, global criminals. The globalists have got their talons in this country, and that's the only thing I can think of. It's the water, it's the water, it's the water is what they're going to come after, because it's so plentiful here. Okay, so now let's say Nestle's, who is very favored on the kosher side, and they're the biggest distributor of kosher foods and own one of the biggest stockholders of the food manufacturer in Israel. And Israel get together, so they got control of the water. So this means that all water will be blessed by the rabbi. It'll all be kosher water. There won't be any chemicals or any toxins in the water. Well, I don't think so. I think it'll just be a tool to get back at those stinking little good-for-nothing Gentiles. Just kill them all off. We'll use the water source for it, and we'll have our own little special water source just for us kosher folks out there. Okay, that's enough. I said too much. Bye-bye. Pura Vida from Costa Rica.